Alright, so hello everybody. I'm going to be showing you how to get Wabbajack on Linux working, or for most Arch desktops. That's what I've tested. Open Tumbleweed seems to also work. Nobara, I think Omni is having issues with it, but I think it is partially working. But the reason why you'd want to use it on Linux natively instead of Windows or a file transfer or doing a VM is because you don't have to deal with any file permission issues. You don't have to deal with any of the transfers at all. It'll just natively install it, and all of the actual file paths will already be set to where they're supposed to be. So what you'll need is Wine Tricks, and Proton Tricks. So for the first thing, I'm using Wine 9.16. And the very first command we're going to run for a prerequisite is going to be this command right here. This will install all of the missing components needed for Wabbajack to run, or just anything to run in general. After it runs, you are good to close out this. And the very first thing we're going to do is, after you've already set up configured wine stuff, you're going to go into the .wine folder, drive C, program files. And I already have a system link to Steam right here, but to make one, you do create new, link to file or directory. You're going to name this Steam. I believe it is case sensitive, so make sure the S is capitalized. We're going to do link it to a directory. We're going to do right click, show hidden folders, Steam. I'm going to add a slash and do Steam again. And that way, once we press OK and OK again, we have now created a Steam folder. This way, Wine, or anything that wants to grab Steam, can detect our games are here. So once we've done that, you want to install, very first thing you want to install is Microsoft WebView. So to install WebView, which I think I might have messed up, it's probably going to fail on me. You're going to need to open up Wine CFG. You're going to need to open up Wine CFG. This will probably fail because I don't have it in the correct compatibility mode, but you want to make sure default settings is set to Windows 10 or 11. This will probably fail, most likely. So, when default settings is set to Windows 11, after you install WebView, make sure your default settings are set to Windows 7. And you want to add an application for Wabbajack right here. So you go and add application, up, /home, and then wherever you put Wabbajack at. So I put mine right there. So we want Wabbajack to use Windows 10 or 11. It doesn't matter. But this has to be set to Windows 7. And this has to be set to Windows 10 or 11. So after we've done that, you can open up Wabbajack. The reason being is, for whatever reason, the WebView pop-ups need Windows 7 to be set. So you just log in like normal, and now Nexus will open up, and you can log in from there. And now you're logged in. And so now if we want to go install a mod list, let's just say, I don't know, a helper. This is a 257 megabyte helper. We're going to go make a folder wherever you want to install it. So I always install my mod list into a folder that's in my home path. And then helper. This is going to be used for example. This is not the list I'm going to test out, but /home me mod list. We're going to name it helper. We're going to just press download. So it'll do everything that Wabbajack would normally do. But for this test, we're going to be doing Kazeel. So you can close Wine CFG. And now we're going to go to the Steam part. So in Steam, I already have one, but because of how the tricks work, I'm going to need to set one. Okay, So we're gonna browse, and Kazil's right here. So you want to go to wherever its folder was, add mod organizer to it. So after you've added it, mod organizer will appear here. You can name it whatever you want. And then, so whatever you name it, go to compatibility and make sure this is checked. Make sure Proton Experimental is selected. So once we're here, we are good to press play. It's going to give me an error with plugins. This is just some mod list. You can completely ignore the plugin errors. So after waiting, it's now opened up. You might be tempted to press play, but you'll probably come into some issues with crashing. So we're going to address that issue. So we're going to go into home. We're going to go into our Steam folder, Steam. We're going to go into Steam apps, compact data. And now the one you just made a folder with this number. That is the app ID we're going to be using. So we're going to go back to console. We're going to go, I will leave these commands inside the description. We are going to do, and now we're going to copy. We're going to rename, copy the number, paste the number, and then we will paste this after it. And now this will install all dependencies needed for most mod lists. This will install .NET 6.7.4.8, and it'll install the DirectX components as well, 11 and 9 if you're playing an Oblivion mod list, which does work. You do need to install all of your games on Linux through Steam. So to get any mod list to even work in the first place, you need to have it like how it was in Windows. So any of the Anniversary Edition content needs to be installed on Steam in Linux. So Wabbajack will not work without the games downloaded and installed. But after this, it should be doing font smoothing. Yeah, that's .NET 4. So if this issue comes up, what you'll need to do is, now that everything's been installed, .NET 4.8 is installed, remove everything and then leave font smoothing right here and just paste that command now. And this will make it so that I will probably reorganize this so this is at the end, and so you don't need to do that in the first place. And after that, go to close terminal, and now you can open up the mod list again. Okay, now that we have the mod list here, now we can just press play. Yes, yes. I'm gonna pause the recording, that way we don't have to wait here for it to open, or it might not take a little while. I'll give it a minute. So now you're good to play modded. Which I think, yeah. So that's an issue that might come up. None of the mods were loaded fully. So to fix this, close off Steam and close out of MO2. Open back up Steam after it's closed on the bottom down here. Open it back up. And then now, go back into library. Open it back up. And I'm going to pause recording this time. That way it just takes a little time. But now just press play again. Yes. Yes. I'm going to pause the recording. Alright. So now you can tell that the load screen's different. That's because the mods have actually loaded. So my Mango HUD's blocking the top left, but it's compiling shaders. The game is insanely loud. Creator Kazil, for whatever reason, has a insanely loud loading video, which is, I guess, whatever. But let me turn it back up. Alright, so here I am. The only thing that does not work on Linux is pulling up the ENB menu. But after we do this, we're good to escape Python. And then if I show 144 FPS at 4K, let's just go out and show that everything's loading. So this is Kazil, so everything to me looks like it is loading. It's nighttime, but yeah, everything is loading. So yeah, that is how to get Wabbajack working on Linux or some distros. I have no guarantee it'll work on, let's say, Ubuntu. I have no guarantee it'll work in Fedora. These are from my personal experience from it working on Arch, and it looks like Open Tumbleweed is working, and Nobara has a bunch of workarounds you have to do. But after that, yeah, it's pretty simple to get it working. You just need to know the commands, and like I said, I'll leave everything. I will leave everything in the actual menus or in the description. So, yeah. So I do hope this mod list actually helps you guys. But if it does, let me know. If it's not working, I will leave the Linux support inside of. I will leave Linux Discord support for Wabbajack in the description as well. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully this helped you out.